Hello everybody and welcome to the Scottish Rhododendron Society. This wee video is a tutorial presented by our President, Willie Campbell, at the Autumn Conference of the Rhododendron Species Conservation Group and the Scottish Rhododendron Society. It has been sponsored by the Education and Exploration Fund of the Scottish Rhododendron Society, and it's about seed propagation and growing on of rhododendrons. I hope you will find it helpful and informative, and I hope you enjoy it. If you like what you see, you can join us at scottishrhododendronsociety.org.uk. Enjoy the video.
Well, again, we're going to talk about seeds, and we talked just a little about hand-pollinated seeds, open-pollinated seeds, and of course we can get wild-collected seeds. Hand-pollinated seeds are better by far, but very few people are actually doing any hand pollination. We get huge requests from Denmark, Norway, France, for Alan Anderson's hand pollinated seeds. But now Alan died a few months ago, and we're not going to get anything. So what we've got to rely on is open pollinated seeds. I often talk about wild-collected seeds, and if people like the Coxes and everybody who goes out to Sichuan or the Himalaya or whatever, we all talk about, oh, it's great, wild-collected seed. But who's hand-pollinating the wild-collected seed? Nobody. I've grown rhododendrons now for 20 years, and every time, a lot of the times with wild-collected seed, there was a few rogues, always a few rogues. But with open-pollinated seeds, we reckon you probably get 60 to 70% the same as the parent. So that's a wee story about seeds to start with, and really, to get going in rhododendrons and sowing seeds, it probably has to be open-pollinated. The very start, as you can see, I've got some water in here, and these little trays are sucking up the water. Well, I haven't really, but this is how I start. I've got a tray here with these containers like that in there with the seed compost, which is still peat. It will not be peat probably in the future, but at the moment it's still peat. And I either put a little bit of perlite in it. In this case, I've put a little bit of vermiculite. I like that just as, I don't know what it is, it just feels it's a wee bit more free draining. And with that, what we do then is we've got a tray here, and you've all got your trays, and really all you do is you just take your seed out the packet, and you'll note that most of the packets come with seed in tin foil, and the reason I do that is because it keeps it fresh. You'll notice that I'm using just cellophane seed packets. Anybody, any idea why I use the cellophane seed packets? They're cheaper. Right? You can buy 1,000 of these for about maybe £50, £60, and 1,000 of the other, can be £150. Yeah, what do we call them again? The other packets, and the ones that, and really a packet of seeds, it comes right, and then you throw the packet away. They come in these glasoline packets, and then you're throwing them away within 2 or 3 weeks. I suggest that as soon as you get your seeds, you sow them. If you get your seeds from the seed exchange in February, March, sow them then, and you put them somewhere warm. You don't have to have heating. I just use our spare bedroom. I do put something over the bed to stop the compost going into the bed itself, but I use our spare bedroom. So if you just take the seed, and if you can open it without sugaring it, and just sow your seeds. And try and just sow them thinly.
So we're filling the full tray with one and taking the others home to do at home?
The other ones to take home. So we've sown our seeds in the tray, and then what we do, we don't cover them at all, we anchor them in. Remember, this has been sitting in water, and it's sucked up the water, and then we take a spray, and all we do is spray and anchor them in. Ian, you've got the spray. So that's what we do. We just spray them and anchor them in, press them into the compost. Guys, right? There's a spray. If you can spray, you just spray it and shook it in. And just pass it to the next person. Would you manage to? Of course, you can freeze the seed. You can actually put the seed in the refrigerator, and it can last. This seed, if you don't get germination within 4 weeks now, I'll be so disappointed. Then, once you've got your seeds in and anchored, there's several ways you can cover the tray. Initially, I used to use cling film. All I would do was take the cling film over the top of the seed tray, and that was that. That's that until you see these seeds germinate. You don't need to water them or mist them or anything like that. I just keep that on. So initially I used cling film to go over that, and it was made quite a good job. But then I discovered that we've got actually these bags. You can do the same. You can put the whole seed tray in the bag. A bit of help. So you can put the seed tray in the bag like that, right? Or the next thing I found is you can get something like these jam pot covers from Amazon for something like £3.50 for 5,000, and you can just go just like that. So there's 3 ways, decent ways of covering. Some of you have got and some of you have got the jam pot covers. You will find that it will condense on the top of the whatever you've got on, and just a bit tap like that, and all the water goes back into the tray. Usually, and then I've got these lights that I use. I don't use any under heating or anything like that. But what I'd use is these lights. I have these lights sitting over the seed trays like that, plugged in, and these give it enough light to germinate the seeds and bring them on very quickly.
Do you leave it on for 24 hours a day, or do you have a time switch?
Actually, I have them timed. I have them timed to do it 16 hours a day. And if you're really clever, you can put the certain shades that is good for germination and then good for growing on and what have you. But as I say, with that, I get really good germination. Last year I got tremendous germination, and I put it on Facebook, and then I noticed very quickly, a couple of days later, what's happened here? And it was actually a big slug. I came in with one of the pots, I had the pots, and I'd done it outside, and I must have had this wee slug, but I'd grown it a big slug, and of course it was crawling over the place. Anyway, so that's that. We've germinated the seeds. We then, we then have the problem, because we've germinated all these seeds, and you'll see what's happened here. What's happened here? I've sown it far too thickly. So you can see, I'll pass this one round again. I've taken all the seeds out of here I need, but far too thick. This is only been, I did this a few weeks ago, just for today, and you'll see, that's passing. You know, just pass that round. So, we're all seeing that really is the easy part. The easy part is germination. There should be no problem germinating the seeds. The next part is the real difficulty, because you start to, you know, as I was saying to somebody today, sometimes rhododendrons seedlings are a wee bit like sheep. And if anybody here knows anything about farming, sheep know 100 ways to die. And sometimes I feel rhododendron seeds are absolutely the same. I feel that there's so many ways they can die. But then the next thing is, of course, you come to potting them on. And again, this was only done a few weeks ago. So I'll pass this round this way. And this is what I do, is I have this, put this on a newly, you know, I potted these into there, or transplanted them into here, and that's how I do it. And really, to be honest, this is what keeps the scarlet fly out, is this little lid, to start with. Potting them on the mixture, the potting mixture is still a good percentage of peat. It's when I pot onto this size that I start to use that potting compost that I was showing you this morning. And he started with the seed exchange, got seeds every year. He would phone up, email, well, what do I do this, what do I do that, what's the next step? And now there's an example.
I'd like to point out the first year was wild collected seed. I lost a lot with fungus and rot, and a neighbour that helped by watering with a jug from the top and washed all my seeds out of the pots. The next year after that it was successful, and been successful every year since, because it's dead easy to grow from seed.
What age are these, Paul?
This year's.
They're this year's. Now, you know, some of you will say, you know, but if you take cuttings, they'll come much quicker. And they will. A year quicker. A year quicker. That's all. You know, because then we come to the end of the season. This is actually a decorum. No, it's a Fortunii. This year's Fortunii. Look how much it's growing. That was probably sown, well, it would have been sown in February.